The Millers, reunited once again, have now arrived in Elturel along with Interim and Marquise. They managed to find the pair of Black Antlers, a tavern owned by Ontar Vroom, who is a member of the Order of the Gauntlet and a good friend to the Harper agent Leosin Erlanthar. The party shared their findings in order for Ontar Vroom and Leosin to think of the next plan of action. What was decided is that the party are to become part of a trade caravan in Baldur's Gate, since information suggests that in order to move to the northern part of the Sword Coast, Baldur's Gate is the only city they need to cross in order to transport that huge cargo to that part of the region. This is also riding in the hopes that they find the fabled Castle Neritar, where the only information mentioned is that it is located in the north. The Millers, who are known to do a job with a price, so Leosin wrote an IOU note claimable in Waterdeep to the sum of 1,200 gold per character. Before retiring for the night, the Millers spent some time relaxing by drinking gin juice, a famous drink offered in the tavern, while recounting their tales. Marquise had a brief reunion with his old childhood friend yesterday. Both are from the doomed town of Emelenor, wherein yesterday is out for vengeance and vows to kill all the worm speakers on his list. Both of them are also ex-prisoners of the cult. Caldruin is trying to embrace the revelation that a member of the Watchers of the Fallen, the group of adventurers who imprisoned Tiamat in the past, one of them betrayed the Order, killing his grandfather Gromnir and the other members. This was revealed to be someone named Varam, who was on the list of yesterday as the White Worm Speaker. While receiving his grandfather's weapon, the Earthen Hammer of the Scorching Sun. Larray began her in-depth Silver Star training along with the Emerald Enclave. She managed to somehow control the element of water, mostly due to the assistance of the Moon Shard. The Emerald Enclave made her an honorary member in order for them to track her, since the cult has been searching for Larray after the said massacre of the Silver Stars by High Priestess Cecilia Herjor, who happened to be Larray's former master and maybe potential foster mother. The Enclave's plan is to keep Larray moving as to confuse the cult to her whereabouts while still being able to train her in controlling the elements. Tomorrow had a run-in with her past through the manifestation of a deity in the form of a panther, while also encountering some of Murag's men. These men who captured Marquise early on through their travels toward Elturel. This Murag is a former target of Tomorrow, which cost her dearly. Upon meeting Leosin once again for the nth time, he says Tomorrow has fulfilled her end of the bargain and doesn't owe anything anymore to Leosin. But he also extends his hand and offers her to join the Harpers as an agent and not as an informant. And finally, we have Interim. Interim, who can't escape the traumatic events of Operation Gromnir. This manifested when he met Marquise and yesterday and is constantly reminded through his fish named Reginald, or he calls Reggie. Initially, he thought that after delivering the Draconic Book, his mission is over. Only it turns out there is more to it than expected. Leosin kept him company the whole night and reassures him that this time is gonna be different. And now we open with the date of the next day, the 21st of Mirtul, 1489, in the town of Elturel, early morning. And as the sun rises from the east, traders from all across the Sword Coast, the southern portion of Sword Coast, have been already going on the gates, being inspected to enter. The merchants doing their daily trades. And by the town square, the smell of bread whips through the air, entering the pair of black antlers. And at this point, we would like to begin with how each of you woke up with the smell of fresh bread in the air. Let's start with Tomorrow.
I think tomorrow's probably going to be like a little bit annoyed. She doesn't, no matter like what the smell, she doesn't really care. Even if it smells so good, she's more annoyed. So she just like puts her neck, but then stretches her muscles a little bit. It wasn't really like the best sleep, but she feels rather rested and prepared. So she's going to start her day by like brushing through her hair and like polishing her boots and her daggers, and then she's probably going to go down right away to get herself a drink and a light meal.
And how about Calderin? How do you wake up with the smell of fresh bread from Elturel?
Do we... Are we in our own rooms, or...
Yeah. Basically separate rooms.
I imagine Caldruin, sleeps on his side. Thus, the moment he opens his eyes, the first thing he sees is the hammer resting in a corner. The hammer of Gromnir. And he's just confused. Like, he's not really, angry or no extreme emotions really, but just confusion of like realizing how little he knew, how deep this interconnected web of secrets go, and he stands up and just hopes that like he can slowly but surely thread through all the mystery, and he comes down and looks for everyone.
Okay. And how about yesterday?
So, yesterday, wakes up eagerly, jolts up, awakened by the smell of fresh bread. Fresh bread. Fresh bread. Usually maganda yung bread.
This breath is
Smell
Wow.
good.
Hygienic.
Contrary to that, hindi fresh yung breath niya. Pero fresh yung bread na naamoy niya. Then, he's already thinking of all the different jams and pastries and fillings and meat that he could pair with it. So he immediately runs down to find the source of the bread with a smile on his face.
And Larray.
For Lorray, unlike the others, she spent the night cross-legged at the one of the tree's branches outside everyone's inn. In addition to the bread from inside the inn that she smells, she also hears the birds that are outside and the smell of the morning dew. And since she smelled the fresh bread as well, she knew that everyone was gonna start waking up soon. So she gets out of her tree and heads in the inn.
Okay. And finally, Interim.
So, Interim did not get a lot of sleep. Uh-oh, things died. Hello?
Hello? Yeah, we
Oh,
can
yeah.
hear you.
Hi.
Yeah.
Okay. It sounded like things died. So, Interim did not get a lot of sleep. Like, the second that he was able to, like, retire back upstairs, like, it was just spent, like, just hours staring up at the ceiling before just actual exhaustion just takes him. So, like, he's probably gonna get up, like, a lot later, a lot more sore just from being able to sleep. I don't know if he'd smell the bread, because there's also the smell of fish just around him. So it's gonna take him a while to go down, but he does, like, peek out if there is a window, just thinking about all that's transpired so far and how he got into this mess when he really didn't ask for it.
Okay.
Before, like, eventually, when he does get at least hungry, he's gonna go down. But it's gonna take a bit.
So as the millers come down the stairs and you see each other on your way down, you come across as you leave your rooms and Larray entering from the tree outside, you are greeted with Leosin. The same table, he looks at you, and just right in the other side of the corner, yesterday, and for the rest, you see also Marquise having their light meal, breakfast of sorts. And while the rest of the tavern is still filled with Order of the Gauntlet guards and some patrons as well, ordinary townsfolk of Elturel coming in and out. It's almost a regular day, but it's not as jam-packed or not as exclusive as when you guys arrived last night. So as you make your way to the table, you see in front of you, all like this, almost like a breakfast buffet of bacon, fresh baked pie. You have drinks from fruit drinks, grapes, oranges, mangoes, and such. And Leosin just welcomes all of you and just says, well, I think you guys have a good night's sleep, and I hope the information that you heard didn't overwhelm you too much. Please, you seem hungry enough, and come, share the table with me and we can talk while you guys eat your breakfast. So as you guys sit down on the table and you began eating the meal, Leosin continues and says, so is there any more inquiry? You might be wondering where Ontarf Room is. Well, Ontarf Room right now is arranging for your ship heading to Baldur's Gate. Yes, that's one of the perks of being a member of an organization is you have the resources to procure anything you want. So, do you have any more other questions or inquiry on the plan that you would be undertaking?
Yeah. Where'd you get this caviar? It's fucking spectacular.
Oh, well, yesterday, that caviar is actually from the southern part of Am. It's a near borderline near Greenest. Really good. Maybe some say you could also source that from the Moonshay Isles. But it's a delicacy, and one fit for a hero like yourself. Aside from the food, do you have any questions on the plan?
Yes, the drinks, yes. This orange juice is super fresh and amazing. Where'd you get these oranges?
It's just
Mandarin?
No, I believe no. That's only from the outside marketplace here in Elturel. We just source that here. Not far-fetched.
Quality gastronomy.
Thank you. And you see in the corner, Marquise is just, using his dagger, giggling in his while as yesterday, makes that quip. And he uses his dagger just to carve, piece of an apple while he's eating it in the corner of the tavern right there.
Wanna stock
gonna
up
ask-
over here. Go out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna ask Leosin. Do you mind reminding us again what we need to do exactly? After last night, there's just too much information. Kind of got lost.
Oh, well, glad you asked. Basically, simple answer is you guys are going to Baldur's Gate because from what the intel you've shared with us, it's most likely that the cult will be going to Baldur's Gate and before transitioning to the moving to the north. So you guys will be going to Baldur's Gate, act as trade caravan guards or merchants or travelers toward the north, and follow the cult from there. Hopefully, we get to Castle Neritar with that plan.
And
Eh.
Neritar is north of.
North of Baldur's Gate. Yeah, that's the information that we have. And if we play our cards right, today is the 21st of Mirtul. And with a boat traveling to Baldur's Gate, that would take you 2 days. So you would be arriving at the 23rd of Mirtul. Maybe lunchtime. As you guys hear, suddenly Miko coming down the steps slowly as a grogly. Yeah, it's interim. Interim, you're coming down the steps from that as you are wondering where the other two are, and no one really. Everyone's looking puzzled as Interim mentions the other two. Who two? Even Leosin looks you quizzically like, who are you pertaining to? Two. All we were just 5 last night.
To my fish. Fucking serious? They're fucking kidding me. Wait. Like, look back at the group. Look back at himself. Look back at his fish. Look back at the group. Just like goes down. Like, oh. What information overload those two people, I guess. What other shit? What's this? Just like props up over to the nearest one. So, if I am just... I don't even know how to describe what kind of fucking state I was in for the last... I don't know how long I've known you people. How exactly are we gonna do with those dragons now? Someone had to have spoken Draconic while we were doing this shit.
Oh, then Leosin just wonders as well. How did you all manage to read the Draconic book then?
I think it was probably the effects of, well, the berries. Maybe we can have a little bit more of that. I honestly can't remember. But I do know that Caldurin here knows some of the words. At least 3 basic ones to put them to sleep in a way. Those berries unlock 10% more of your brain capacity.
What if
Amazing.
I have like 10 of these things? Let's get 100% of capacity. What if I have 20?
You'll never know unless you try.
Give me some of this shit.
And as everyone's laughing and enjoying each other's company, Larray, please give me a history check. With 11, Larray, you remember the time when you were training that with the Emerald Enclave that you had a vision, and this vision entailed you to come to a cathedral or a meeting place where the Cult of the Dragon is having like this checkpoint or this meeting, convening before breaking your vision by Asbadajos casting this mind shielding magic that kicked you out from that vision. And you recall that that vision happened at 16th of Mirtul. You remember that date clearly because that's when you were also washing the dishes the day after. The cult is stationed just outside of Beregost. And as you mentioned this date to Leosin, Leosin then stood up from his chair and with a concerned look, he says, well, things are now in deep trouble. Because Larray says 16 of Mirtul, the cult is in Berigos. And that means when all things are going according to plan, then they would arrive in Baldur's Gate by the 24th of Mirtul, making you guys only a day to stay in the city and to find a job as caravan. And he drinks picks up this orange juice on his table and drinks it and starts deep in thought how to resolve this until he drops the orange juice down and has this eureka moment and looks again at Larray and says, "Dear Druid, I may have need of your assistance, and especially with the Emerald Enclave, if that's fine with you. Hear me out. If you could send one of the... I assume you could talk to animals, yes, as an Emerald Enclave. If so, send a word to any agent of your organization. And if they can, make sort of a rain cloud or a thunderstorm on their way. So that would allow you guys to have 2 days in Baldur's Gate instead of just 1.
Like at sea.
Yeah, delay their travel. Because if everything's moving according to plan on their end, when everything's fine, and I assume they won't be attacked by bandits since this is the cult we are talking about, they would arrive in Baldur's Gate on the 24th, while you guys take your ship, and you will arrive there on the 23rd. That would make you guys really slim chance to set up a disguise, set up a front. And if we manage to delay them even just a day, that would give you guys 2 days in Baldur's Gate instead of the 1. So what do you
I
say?
think that's a good idea.
Any more time that we have.
And then that's good.
Right.
That's settled. So Larray, do you have any animals you could call?
Oh, don't worry about it. Larray heads out of the inn, goes to the tree that she was just at, and leans a little bit and whispers into the tree.
Okay, roll me animal handling.
19.
Oh, you see this this like big bird, this almost like a raven, real fast. It just swoops down from high above the clouds down to the tree, and as it approaches the branches, it lands majestically on on Larray's shoulder, and Larray whispers the plan to delay of action. And this raven then calls out and blitzes away real fast. As Larray gets back, Leosin asks Larray, "So, was it done? Did you send the message?"
All set.
That was fast. Ontarfroom told me to tell you guys that you are to look for this. Then he ruffles through like some of the papers underneath the desk, and he wrote this down. Oh, here's one. Once you reach Baldur's Gate, look for a human trader named Akin Celebon. He's one of Ontarfroom's contacts, and he would be the one to give you the disguise and the cover-up for the caravan travel. That's what, according to him.
Leosin, do we happen to have any contacts in Baldur's Gate? Maybe someone part of the Harpers?
Then Leosin and Interim, you guys look eye to eye as you're trying to recall if there are any. And Leosin just gazes back at Kaldruin and just says, "Right now, no. As far as I can tell, some of the agents we've positioned back far east in Flan. And I guess I'm the only one here at the west part. Waterdeep's the next one, since that would be our headquarters. But other than that, it's Order of the Gauntlet from here on out.
If they were already have around there, would be much easier. So, how about we try something? We could slow them down going to Baldur's Gate, but we could also slow them down further when they get there. I don't know, but other contacts that they have there in Baldur's Gate that let them just waltz in there and shit. The cult, I mean.
Well, you could try. And then Leosin wanders once again, deep in thought, and it says, maybe Baldur's Gate is already a member of the Lord's Alliance. If you could get a message or talk to Baldur Ravengard, who happens to be the Grand Duke of that city. Maybe we could get the Lord's Alliance to our cause as well. Since they're the ones, I don't know, I'm not really sure if they've begun their investigation of the cult. But maybe this could be a good time. That could be a good idea, Interim. You could check him out. He's a member of the Lord's Alliance.
Alright. I believe Cardurenos had something to say. I might as well get as much of this plan out as possible, yeah?
Oh no, I just remembered we have 3, and I whispered, wormlings. We need to consider. Are we bringing them?
Well, I think it would be best to leave them in your expert care, Leosin. After all, wouldn't want to risk these little darlings burning down whatever it is that's on the way.
Leaving wormlings. But then he recovers and resumes his composure and just goes, it would be sound as well to leave the wormlings here for a while, but I'll have to make a call or make messages as to who can speak higher Draconic. But yeah, it's better to you guys travel light, since you are now gonna be infiltrating the cult even deeper. Unless you wanna lug around 3 wormlings. Can you manage 3 wormlings on the road?
That's the problem. If we do bring them, I don't think cover might be a problem if we bring them with us.
Exactly. You did tell us to be extra sneaky, and I don't think we can be sneaky with these little darlings over here, so your call really, Leosin.
Then he just sits down as well. Yes, Interim?
There is a chance that we can use them to get even deeper in. Maybe they will see us as more important, but then again, that would also draw attention. There are a lot of ways to use, wormlings and dragons in a cult all about dragons. The problem is just actually keeping them under control.
They already know our faces, Interim. If it were you, maybe.
There is this thing, right, that we talked about last night that was shown. What's that picture or something? You know that thing?
And still act as merchants and maybe Lorraine's painting, the one we took from the cave.
Yeah.
But we're gonna have to disguise ourselves somehow.
Can I see that painting again, just very quickly? Let me see.
So as Lorraine you guys reveal again the notes that you got from the Dragon's Cave, and Interim, you see this mountain with above it is a 5-headed dragon, then a huge mountain, and down below you see its minions, this adult chromatic dragons, and then the cults, the 5 worm speakers underneath are the cultists and the members, and then the treasures that they are offering, and at the same time the people that they are sacrificing. And then just down below, the last line from the painting, you see these 5 adventurers who you guys now know are the Watchers of the Fallen, trying to fight off this Tiamat. So Leosin just continues on and says, are there any more questions? That everyone's cleared with the plan?
I
You
look
have-
towards tomorrow. Or sorry, yesterday. Tomorrow, what about your buddy there? And gesture towards Marquise.
Oh, sorry. You guys discussing something?
No, I'm just asking if is Marquise coming with us?
Oh yeah, you're coming, right?
And then Marquise just walks over and just lean over and says, you can keep my bow yesterday. I mean, I already told you guys, I don't want any part. I want to live a normal life. I don't want any part of this.
Oh, we're killing the dragon.
Look, I don't want any more. Too much has been spilled, and I don't want any part. I want to live the best of my years alive and safe. And Eleanor's dead. There's nothing to come back. I just want to make a new, fresh start. Maybe I could stay here in Elturel. You keep my bow. Use it wisely.
So Caldruin, yeah, he ain't going.
Well, if you're still willing to help Marquise, maybe you can help Leosin take care of the wormlings. Something to do, something to pass the time with.
That could be wise. And he looks over at Leosin, and Leosin just nods. And maybe he could, Leosin just interjects as well, and he just goes, and maybe if you do a good job, then perhaps joining the organization, we're a little bit stretched. we could use agents like you. And then Marquis just, again, it says to Leosin, didn't you not hear what I said to yesterday? I don't want any part. I want a normal life, just like the tavern barmaid right over there, or the patrons in this tavern. I don't want adventure, please. And he just
Yes, and I get we need help and all, but you don't have to ask every single young adventurer if they want to join our little group here.
I think there's a group that Marquis could join. He is a very fine pastry chef. Want to own your own restaurant?
Yeah, I could start that. I could maybe that could be a good avenue for me. Thank you yesterday. And as he thanks, he leaves the tavern, wandering this today, in the middle of town square, the Paladin Square as they call it. And Leosin, just says, well, I could call him once you guys leave, and yeah, I could ask him to help me out on this with the wormlings. Yeah, other than that, I guess you just have to see Ontar's room if you guys are already ready to leave to Baldur's Gate. He's by the docks of Elturel, and since it's early morning, you still have enough time, I guess, to make a shopping trip on Paladin Square if you need supplies. And I don't know, Caldrin, if you are very devout or religious, but the Temple of Torm as well is just near the tavern, just near the inn, if you want to take a visit.
Thanks, Leosin, I will.
I could meet you there once we've handled with the wormlings on the docks before you guys leave. So and then he stands up and he makes his way out of the tavern and leaves you guys, to your own to yourselves at this point.
I'm going to the square. See you guys there.
Okay. Maybe we can see each other by the dock around noon, just before
well.
sunset.
All right, sounds like a plan to me.
Or
Sounds
wait,
good.
sorry, I just assumed that we're leaving by nighttime. When did Ontar say we were supposed to leave anyway? Yeah, maybe we can just drop by real quick over at the dock just to make sure we don't miss our ship.
I'll be
Well-
heading to the square.
Okay.
Yeah, here's
Yesterday's
how
on the
it
square.
goes.
Okay.
Oh, great. Let's see. We can all do the shopping that we want to do. I can go check on the docks if you want and find y'all. I assume you're going to be shopping and shit, so probably around that area, right? If ever we have to go earlier. Easy.
Yes, yes.
That's right.
Okay. So the party's splitting up for today. Yesterday's gonna be alone shopping. Laray's gonna be alone by the woods. Interim makes his way Interim makes his way to the docks, and Tomorrow and Caldroin make their way to the Temple of Thorn. Okay, let me bring you guys right there. Yeah. Yesterday, you arrive at the Paladin Square, you know. It's very crowded early this morning. And there are a lot of vendors. You know, there are the blacksmiths, the general store merchants, crowded streets, various races. So what do you do on the market square?
So I look for a blacksmith who specializes in long-range weapons.
Okay, so you make your way to one of the blacksmith's corners, and as you approach, after he's dealing with the transactions with one of the local folk. He looks at you, and you see this human with long beard, and he just goes, "Hello, welcome to the Iron Bull. What can I get you?"
Yeah, looking for arrows for the specific longbow. It's a longbow of war.
Then he says, "Ooh, fine weapon you have there, sir. I think standard arrows would do the trick." Then he looks over and just picks up this big quiver of arrows, and puts it on the table right there. How many would you need, sir?
I'll be 50 of these. How much for each? Have a 50 sale or something?
Well, I sell one arrow for a gold. So if you want 50, that would be 50 gold.
For a goal.
Or,
Damn.
since I'm buying bulk, chop it off to around 40 for 50.
Roll me persuasion.
And
Then he
Alam ko na
just
sunod dito.
and he just goes, "Yeah, I could do 40 for 10. You said 40 for 10, right? Yeah, 40 for 10.
But that's overpriced, my guy. 40 for 50.
Well, how about... Okay, that sounds like a good deal. And he just changes his mind and gives you 50 arrows for 40 gold.
You have some trick arrows?
Trick arrows.
Yeah.
Oh, I have. Then he brings up this one big box of flame arrows right there. It's like flammable. These are ready flame arrows. All you have to do is ignite them and fire away. And you can smell the gasoline and the oil. I mean the oil, not gasoline, oil on the tips.
How much are these?
These are 100 of them, and I sell them for 300 gold, all of them.
300 for 100 to
Mhm.
150 for 50.
You want 150 for 50? Roll me another persuasion. Okay, tell you what. With a 23, he just says, "Tell you what. What was your initial offer? 100 50 for 50.
Yeah.
Okay. And then with the 23, he looks at you and says, "You know what? I like you. I tell you what. 150 and I give you 100 flaming arrows."
What? Oh, my lucky day.
Yeah, so
Sure, here you go. How do I light these? Sorry. I'm using those trick arrows.
and he just chuckles in front of you and laughs and says, "Don't you have a torch or any flammable?" And then he just points over like near brazier on the side and near his
Alright.
just light him up. The flame tips enough and just fire away.
Right. Do you know how I can practice and be proficient with this longbow? Kind of weird. I'm new to it.
Then step right here, so good sir. Since you've done business well with me, I might could teach you a thing or two. Then you both head to the back, and he has this range out. And yeah, all you have to do is aim down, relax your muscles, take a deep breath, and then shoot. And as yesterday does it, yesterday you could roll me your acrobatics actually. So the first arrow, you slipped up, didn't hit the target on the mark. He says, "Yeah, it's your first time using a weapon like this. Take your time. Take a deep breath, and then try again. And roll another acrobatics."
There you go. 21.
And your first arrow hits the mark. Not on the bullseye yet, but it's close to the bullseye. And it says, "Yep, you're getting there. Keep at it. And you might be proficient with it." And as yesterday continues on, practicing for a while, we head to Larray, just outside. So Larray, what are you doing outside? As you were searching alone yourself with the berries.
Since this is a new place for Larray, she is looking around to see what kind of herbs are available in the woods and around the area.
Okay, roll me a nature check.
Ooh.
Ooh, as you scour along the sides from the wall of Elturel, you manage to find this like huge bush, really abundant of blueberries and strawberries in the field. So Larray managed, you garnered roughly like 300 blueberries and around 100 strawberries.
Awesome. Yeah, that. Blueberries and strawberries?
Yeah. 300 blueberries and 100 strawberries.
Okay.
And you also found one poison berry from the bunch.
Oh. Okay. I'll add it.
There you go.
Let's see. Thank you.
So as Larray, just keep scouring over the forest on the side. Now you go toward the temple. Inside the temple of Thorn. Caldrin and Tomorrow make their way, and you are greeted by a priest. And inside, the priest you see is just in front of the altar, and he looks over at you guys, and he asks, "Oh, welcome. Is there anything you need? Burial service? Are you both getting married?"
Oh, no, sir. Pardon me. But I too am not a priest, but a cleric for the god Home. would just like to pay my respects with my companion here.
Yes,
I hope you do
his
not mind.
friend. Definitely not getting married. Well, for me, you see this little thing over here? So she pulls out like the trident that's like strapped on her back, and then she gives it like a twirl, and she's not yet that proficient with it, so it sort of almost like hits the guy. Sorry there. Still not, that good with this little thing over here, but I was wondering if you could tell me a little bit more about this trident. You see, I got this checked out, and they did say that this trident reaches the count of 666 souls. Something bad's gonna happen.
Then the priest sees this trident, and his eyes opens wide. And as he touches the trident and observes it, he just says, "Where did you get this?"
Well, long story short, I got this as a reward for saving a town.
I see. Then as he analyzes the trident even further and says, "It says here it's 612 souls already?"
Well, I did get it at that number, yes.
And do you plan on reaching the said amount?
Well, to be honest, I'm not really much of a killing kind of person, but I guess you could say I wanted to be cautious, that I'm curious.
Not a lot is known about this item on cursed items, since this could be the only one of its kind. Well, some tavern folk and some people from other organizations give different takes on what happens on the 666. Some say a rare creature comes out. The others, maybe the deity. Still others, maybe Tiamat herself. Do you love folklore, young tiefling? Because that's what you're getting right now. And then the priest just chuckles because he's not even also sure what's gonna be coming out if you reach the 666 yet. Because no one has
she
it.
she just like flashes again. Well, I do hope you'll still be around to find out. That's just a few more souls. Guess we'll see.
Roll me an intimidation check.
My God, 6.
And the priest just goes, "Well, you better work on your threats, young tiefling, because I'm not really afraid of you right now. How about
Well,
you, Master Dwarf?"
Tried.
Well, to be honest, I wasn't only here to send praises to home. I was meaning to ask you, sir, about, and I look around and say, about the Watchers. Do you know anything about the Watchers of the Fallen?
Then he sits down on one of the pulls up a chair, sits down, and says, "Well, they're a long adventuring bunch. People talk, tales have been said about them. All 5 of them are really awesome in their regards. They saved towns, stopped demons from entering this realm, and even the rumor says they stopped Tiamat from coming alive. What else do you want to know about them that isn't on the books or on the tales of bards?"
You see, I am. My name is Baldur, Brightbeard. I come from the long line of Brightbeards. My grandfather, Gromnir.
And as you just said Gromnir, he says, "Oh, are you're his son?"
No, sir. I am his grandson.
Ah,
And I was. You see, I never really met my grandfather. I only heard tales like you did. But past few days, and due to a number of events recently, I've come in search for more information about him and his group, the Watchers. Do you happen to know if any of them are still alive?
well, there have been rumors that not all of them died during the Brightbeard keep attack. The 9 kingdoms of the Lord's Alliance already paid tribute to all the members of Brightbeard Keep. But some rumors and tavern folk keep mentioning that one's still alive, one is still free, and I don't know. I personally don't know where or if that is really true or not.
I see. Well, it was worth a try. Thank you, sir.
Then, as he stands up, he looks over at both of you and says, "Are you sure both of you aren't getting married today?"
No, sir.
Probably not
Is that-
even
I
100
am a
years.
cleric.
Yeah. So as you guys make your way out, we gotta now move over to the docks. Where Interim is, and as Interim, you manage to see, Leosin and Onthar, right there, trying to fix out the ship, and Onthar is fixing up the final touches on the ship, and Leosin is like packing up, some provisions for the trip, and he looks over and sees Interim and says, "Oi, hi there. You didn't go with your buddies on a shopping trip?"
Buddies is a word that you would apparently use. I don't need to met them how many days ago? Odd group, but figured I'd check on the ship first and see when exactly we could leave.
And Onthar looks over at Leosin and he says, "You didn't tell them?" Then Leosin says, you didn't even leave any note for me to tell," it says. And Onthar, as he drops down, the big box, he says, "Well, the sooner the better. Of course we're trying to buy time. Didn't I tell you last night that it's gonna be tight?" And Leosin says, Don't worry about timing. I've already asked the help from the Emerald Enclave to delay a little bit further. Give them 2 days." And then Onthar just goes, "Oh, so have you told them about Aken Celebon?" And Onthar said, Yes. They'll be looking for Aken Celebon. This is one of your contact traders, and be hired as either guards, merchants, or whatever for the caravan." And Onthar just goes, "Okay, good. At least you have that down." Aye. And he just looks over at Leosin and says, "Are you sure this guy is a harper?" And he just is stressed out and says, "So, Interim, where are your friends?"
Sorry, during that entire exchange, he was just watching, scratching his ass, working, freaking collaborations. Well, they're doing the business that they need to do, visiting the places that they have to go to, buying shit, all the classics for preparing for adventures. Actually makes this easier that you're here, Leos, and I actually have things to ask.
And Leosin just goes, okay, shoot away.
What other gadgets do you have that we can use?
The what?
I have these. What other gadgets do you have that we can use? I assume you didn't come here empty-handed, right? And like he just pulls out like the glasses and puts it on. Doesn't really use it, but just puts it on there, on his eyes. You have to have something, right?
Then Leosin just looks over and says, you have everything. I mean, you're a member of the Harpers. We don't embrace progress that much. We always stick to traditions, and practices, and that's the only gadgets we take. Except for the time when Agent P was pondering me, asking me if the Harpers could change the organization to go into teams. I don't know how that's going. He's out there east in Flan. Hasn't reported back on what happened to the teams he's been pestering me about. That agent really tries to shake things up. Believe me, doesn't care for tradition either way.
Tradition is like bread. It gets stale. Sometimes you need more wheat to make a new one. Now, not nothing though. If you're gonna be taking care of the dragons, you're going to need this. Pulls out the book. Unless, well, of course, you have some way of reading this. It's gonna be better if at least one of us knows Draconic on the way there. Imagine, in a coat of dragons, talking Draconic at least. The lowest kind will help.
And then he hands over this. He looks over the book and says, "That's true. I could keep it. We could keep it for a while for the wormlings, and maybe this could help." And he hands you over like the scroll of comprehend language, like 2 scrolls of them, 2 scrolls of comprehend language to you, to enter him, and just goes, "That could come in handy. Maybe you could use that once you face dragons as well. Could learn Draconic with that, but not master it. Maybe small phrases."
Certainly works. Oh. I'm going to need you to tell me exactly who the fuck I'm traveling with. I mean, I've had a couple days with them, but I'd rather know what I'm getting myself into with them.
Then Interim just goes. Ontarf Room looks over at Interim and says, "Yeah, Leosin. Why them? I mean, sure they rescued you, but what gives?" And Leosin just looks and says, "I just have this feeling, a hunch, and I stick with it. So maybe just trust them. They saved Greenest. I mean, that's no small feat for a bunch of newbie adventurers. Saving a city? Come on."
That is true. Still, you know what we're getting them into, right?
And Ontar just looks over and nods in agreement at Interim's statement, and he says, "Well, then who are we gonna be getting if no one stops the cult?"
Big of people. I'm not saying don't send them, it's just do they know what they're actually doing?
That's why you're there. He looks over at Interim. That's why you're there. You've managed people before, Interim, remember? And you know, he looks at you really deep in the eye when he says that. "Sorry if I triggered your noggin there, because he's like pointing over at like Reggie." It's just basically almost like an offensive joke. Just points over the fish, as he mentioned. Yeah, you've managed people before.
Where that got them, look where that got me. Also, I was curious as to why you got me for this. Yes, I want to make up for shit, but 60 years after the fact, just look at me. And just gestures to like the cripple fucking old man that he is.
Then Leosin just goes over and taps his shoulder and says, Interim, this time it will be different. Believe me.
You know, the elf doesn't know what I did yet. Or at least what I messed up for him. His friend knows.
It's better that both of us just know about that.
I beg to differ. The crew said that they would be here by, what, sundown?
Sundown! Then Ontar's room opens and says, that's too late! Then he looks over at the nearest guard and says, find these people! And he gives out the names and orders like the Order of the Gauntlet to look for the rest of the party. They should be here right now! Then he looks over at Leosin and says, you forgot to give them the time. Harpers, really. And then as you guys like waited a good 10 minutes, you know, the rest of the party arrive, you know, at the docks, like forced. You see yesterday like dragged out with some of the longbows from the blacksmith place. And then Larray as well from the outskirts. Everyone's dragged in. Even Tomorrow and Caldruin, you know, as you guys make your way back to the docks. And you see Leosin, Interim, and Ontar's room just waiting for you. Right there. And Ontar's room just continues and says, I'm sorry that you had to be dragged from where you once were because someone here forgot to tell how urgent timing is at the moment. And then Leosin just head down and looks away, like doesn't look Ontar in the eye, and he says, I assume that's enough time for you guys to get ready to leave.
Do people get?
Well, nothing much really. Just went around with this brooding little guy over here, so she just like points at Baldur.
I just did my clerical duties, that's all. I'm ready to go when everyone is.
I'm ready
So
as
yeah,
well.
potions?
Nature has provided me with all that I need for this.
My God.
So, then Ontar's room just continues. Everyone's here. Just hop on the boat and just, well, it's only a river. It's gonna go one way. You guys will be going to Baldur's Gate. 2 days travel, and if the plan Leosin hatched along with our Emerald Enclave friend here works, then you may have an allowance of 2 days before the cult arrives in Baldur's Gate. Caldron, use that hammer well. That's your grandfather's hammer. And then Leosin looks over at Interim, and he just, you know, as you both eyes meet, he knows what he's trying to tell you. Just be a leader to these guys and, you know, guide them from this mission. But then he looks over at Leosin looks over at Tomorrow and says, my offer still stands, Tomorrow. You could be an agent. You could join us. You could use your hand. Not as an informant like you did before, but a field one. You could boss around Interim if you want.
And Reginald? That does sound interesting. But perhaps it'll have to wait after, well, this dragon thing is wrapped up. Not really sure if I'm still No. Going to continue this afterwards, but I guess we'll see.
And then Leosin just then you could see him like pat around his pockets, and he reveals a note and says, "Oh, before I also forget." Then, as he says forget, you see Ontarf Room just snarling like, he always does that. And forgetting minor details. And Leosin just opens this note and says, "Larray, this is for you. An owl gave it to me. It has the seal of the Emerald Enclave. And I guess it's about your training. They just wanted to check on you and says, if once you reach a town," as Larray opens, you read that your training, entails you learning, like from any scroll or any book, an elemental cantrip or a first level spell. You see from far away, you hear the panting, and Marquise makes his way to the docks. And really tired, huffing and puffing, he just goes over and says to Leosin, the wormlings are fast asleep and already fed. Did I miss anything? And Leosin just says, no, they're just about to leave. Then he says, that's good. Well, yesterday, good luck. I guess the rest of Emelenor's with you at this point.
It is. So are you joining now?
And as he's still heavily breathing from the run, he says, "Hell no, hell no! I'm already winded by just taking care of wormlings. So these are on you guys." So as you guys now slowly make your way to the boat, and who's driving anyway? Who's taking the first drive?
Oh shit, we get to drive the boat! Wait, before we go, I do want to shout out to Leosin. Did you forget anything else?
Then Leosin just nods, and Ontarf Room is just also deep in thought and says, "That's all that you need to know for now. That's all the information. We'll give you additional information as the mission progresses." And he still looks over at Leosin. "Is that really all?" And Leosin says, Yeah. That's it. That's all you need to know."
I check.
Okay, you can all give an insight check for Leosin. With all you guys, you noticed Leosin, he is, especially for trying to hide other stuff from you guys. He is not completely telling the truth, but the truth that he is telling you right now is that of the mission is still genuine. The plan of looking for Akin Celebon is still the play. Following the cult is the key to finding Castle Neritar and stopping the resurrection of Tiamat. But there are still stuff, especially with Larray's 24. There are still stuff that Leosin is hiding and just trying to, show with the facade of this smiling agent of the Harpers. And who's driving pala?
How well do we know the route to Baldur's Gate to get as fast as possible?
So as you say that, Ontarf Room just says, "It's a river. It only goes one way, and it's already pointing toward Baldur's Gate. Just follow it. You'll reach Baldur's Gate." I mean, even the flow of the river is one way, and then as you can see, the flow is just going, going southward. You see the flow. Even the fishes, you guys notice the fishes going one way.
My room is so fucking done.
Just follow the river.
Is there any way to go faster?
If you have the wind, if there's a good wind that flows through the canyon valley, then maybe yes, it could boost your speed a little bit. If none, just the current would do. Only thing you need to watch out, I guess, are the bandits or orcs that you might be encountering. But with the ship, I doubt you would encounter any of those hindrances. You could try if you manage to cast a spell of a wind or something.
I look immediately to Marae. Can you?
Let's see what we can do. At first I'll head to the back of the boat, and then right where the back of the boat is, I'll do shape water to agitate the current to give us a boost.
Okay.
And then using Druidcraft, I'll create a gust of wind to push us through the river.
Yeah, throw me a nature pala. Do it. You could have advantage if you want.
Because I want to be funny. She's like not on the boat yet at this point, right?
No, no.
No! I'm
Okay.
driving. 21.
Yeah. So as everyone's on the boat, you see Larray preparing the water. You see the water ripple, and then there's a slight gust of wind whooshes over, and you suddenly have this jolt, like small jolt, not really a big one, and you guys suddenly like a constant speed motion. The boat is moving as Larray just keeps her concentration up on the spell. And as you guys are sailing over, you hear from the distance, you see Leosin just say, "Oh, I remember now. I remember the last thing that you need to know. I know where your Miller name came from. You could fool the whole city of Greenest, but not me." Then on Tarf Room, and Marky says, "What?" Just like in puzzles, like, how did they get their name? It says, "Well, it's for them to tell once they come back from the mission." Eve.
Ray tries to agitate the water so it go a little bit faster.
Interim is just as confused, like, what the fuck is he talking about?
Yeah, even
Get outta
Inter
here.
doesn't know. And as you guys make your way, you guys are now off to Baldur's Gate.